Hello students, myself Dr. R.N. Athila, Additional Professor of Pathology. Today on online classes by Google Class method, we will start a new system, that is gastrointestinal tract. Gastrointestinal system starts from oral cavity in continuation with esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and ultimately ends into the anal canal. It is responsible for the intake, digestion of food, absorption of nutrients, and elimination of solid wastes. Different components are esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and the associated organs which take parts in the digestion of food are gallbladder, liver, and pancreas. Esophagus, it is a tube-like structure that connects your mouth and your stomach. It is 25 cm long, extending from lower border of cricoid cartilage to the cardia of stomach. Stomach is a stretchy bag-like structure that holds your food after you eat. It helps to break food into smaller pieces so your body can use it for energy and nutrition. This is a diagram of stomach. It has 5 anatomical parts: gastroesophageal junction and dome-shaped area, that is called cardia, then fundus, body, then pylorus. It has mucosal folds, that is called ruga, and at gastroduodenal junction there is pyloric sphincter. Small intestine, it is a tube-like structure that is 20 feet long. It continues to digest food. Food stays in your small intestine for 4 to 8 hours. This is a diagram of small intestine. It has villi. Different parts are duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, and ileocecal wall. Then large intestine, it is also tube-like structure that is 5 feet long. It gets waste from small intestine. Waste stays for 10 to 12 hours. This is a diagram of large intestine. Large intestine, also called large bowel, cecum, and vermiform appendix. Large intestine has different parts, that is ascending colon, hepatic flexor, transverse colon, splenic flexor, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and anus. In gastrointestinal system, different pathological conditions takes place in different parts. For example, inflammatory lesions that arise in oral cavity due to different etiological factors, like for example stomatitis, glossitis, etc. Ulcer-like lesions, for example aphthous ulcers, or neoplastic lesions, either benign or malignant, most commonly malignant neoplasms, that is squamous cell carcinoma of oral cavity. These are more common. In esophagus, esophagitis, Barrett's esophagus, neoplastic lesions, most common are squamous cell carcinoma and adenocarcinoma. In stomach, inflammatory lesions in the form of gastritis, that is acute and chronic gastritis, ulcerative lesions, either acute or chronic peptic ulcers, neoplasms, either benign or malignant. Same way in small and large intestine, different inflammatory bowel diseases and benign and malignant neoplasms can occur. So all these different pathological conditions you will learn in your uh, some of these topics you will learn in your practical classes, and some of topics you will learn in your theory lectures. Today in Google class we learn about the peptic ulcer disease. So definition of peptic ulcer. Peptic ulcer is defined as area of degeneration and necrosis of gastrointestinal mucosa exposed to acid peptic secretions. Though they can occur at any level of the alimentary tract that is exposed to hydrochloric acid and pepsin, they occur most commonly in either duodenum or stomach. It can be of two types, acute or chronic. Acute peptic ulcers usually are multiple small mucosal erosions seen most commonly in the stomach but occasionally involving the duodenum. Etiology or causes of acute peptic ulcers. These ulcers occur following severe stress like psychological stress and physiological stress. Physiological stress is in following like shock, severe trauma, septicemia, extensive burns, curling ulcers in the posterior aspect of first part of duodenum, intracranial lesions like brain trauma, surgery, tumor causing excess vagal stimulation, that is Cushing's ulcers. Drugs, for example aspirin, steroids, etc. Local irritants, for example alcohol, smoking, coffee, etc. Now pathogenesis of acute peptic ulcer. Gastric acid secretion is normal or below normal in all the above cases except Cushing's ulcers. The cause for stress ulcer in other cases is ischemic hypoxic injury to mucosal cells. Depletion of gastric mucous barrier rendering the mucosa susceptible to attack by acid peptic secretions. Morphological features. Gross features. These ulcers are more common in stomach than duodenum. They are multiple, more than 3 in 75% cases. They are usually oval to circular in shape and less than 1 centimeter in diameter. Microscopic features. They are shallow, do not invade muscular layer. Margins and base show some inflammation. Ulcers heal by reepithelialization without leaving a scar after the causative factors are removed. The time required for complete healing varies from days to several weeks. You can see a diagram in which there are multiple stress ulcers of the stomach, which highlighted by dark digested blood on their surfaces. These ulcers are multiple, small, round to oval in shape and less than 1 centimeter in size. Complications are hemorrhage and perforation. Then chronic peptic ulcer. If not specified, chronic peptic ulcer would mean gastric and duodenal ulcers, the two major forms of peptic ulcer disease of upper gastrointestinal tract, in which acid pepsin secretions are implicated in their pathogenesis. Peptic ulcer disease are common in present day life of industrialized and civilized world. Incidence of chronic peptic ulcer. The incidence of peptic ulcer in Western world is around 10%. The incidence varies widely in India. Its incidence is 15 times more in South India, that is in Chennai, compared to North India, that is in Punjab, and duodenal ulcer is more common than gastric ulcer. It is more frequent in middle-aged adults. The peak incidence for duodenal ulcer is 5th decade, while for gastric ulcer it is a decade later, that is in 6th decade of life. Duodenal as well as gastric ulcers are more common in males than in females. Duodenal ulcer is almost 4 times more common than gastric ulcer. The overall incidence of gastroduodenal ulcers being approximately 10% of the male population. Different sites according to importance are duodenum, mainly first part in 98 to 99% cases. Usually it is near pyloric region, and anterior wall is more common than posterior wall. Stomach, mainly antral region, that is near or in the lesser curvature, it is more common. Esophagus, particularly Barrett's esophagus, margins of gastroenterostomy, Meckel's diverticulum, and anywhere in stomach to jejunum in Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Pathogenesis. Duodenal ulcers are more commonly associated with high acid pepsin secretion. Gastric ulcers are associated with impaired gastric mucosal defense rather than acid pepsin secretion. The causes of peptic ulcer disease are as follow. Chronic gastritis. The imbalance of mucosal defenses and damaging forces that cause chronic gastritis also cause peptic ulcer disease. Thus, peptic ulcer disease generally develops on a background of chronic gastritis. Helicobacter pylori infection. Although more than 70% of individuals with peptic ulcer disease are infected by H. pylori bacteria, fewer than 20% develop peptic ulcer due to variation in host factors and H. pylori strains. The mechanism of development of H. pylori induced peptic ulcer disease are H. pylori organisms break gastric mucosal defense by elaboration of urease, protease, catalase, and phospholipase. Host response. Mucosal epithelial cells secrete inflammatory mediators like interleukin 1, 6, 8, and tumor necrosis factor alpha, inciting an intense inflammatory response. Local irritants associated with peptic ulcer disease are chronic non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug use, which causes direct chemical irritation while suppressing prostaglandin synthesis, which is necessary for mucosal protection. High-dose corticosteroids suppress prostaglandin synthesis and impair healing. Cigarette smoking impairs mucosal blood flow and healing. Other irritants like heavily spiced food and alcohol. Psychological factors. Individuals with psychological stress, anxiety disorders, type A personality have increased gastric acid production. Genetic factors. Individuals with blood group O and with HLA-B5 antigen are more prone to develop peptic ulcer disease. This is a diagram you can see here. When defensive forces are weakened by offensive forces, then there will be a damage or injury to intact mucosal barrier, which leads to development of ulcer. Morphology, gross and microscopic appearance in peptic ulcer disease. Gross appearance, site. Peptic ulcers are 4 times more common in duodenum than stomach. Duodenal peptic ulcer seen in proximal duodenum within few centimeters of pyloric wall along anterior duodenal wall. Gastric peptic ulcer seen along lesser curvature in the region of pyloric antrum, more commonly on posterior wall than anterior. Other uncommon locations like cardia, marginal ulcers and Meckel's diverticulum. These ulcers are usually single or solitary in more than 80% patients. Size of ulcer, it is about 1 to 3 centimeter in diameter. Shape, it is round to oval in shape, sharply punched out edges in the level of the surrounding normal mucosa. Base of ulcer is smooth and clean as a result of peptic digestion of exudate. Blood vessels may be evident. Mucosal margin may overhang, particularly on the upstream side, but is usually in level with the surrounding mucosa. Heaped up margins or everted margins are more characteristic of cancers. Depth, superficial ulcers are limited to mucosa only, while deep ulcers may reach up to muscularis propria or even penetrate and reach up to pancreas, omental fat or liver. Gastric serosa may show hemorrhage and fibrin deposition. Scarring may involve the entire thickness of the wall and pucker the surrounding mucosa into folds that radiate outward. You can see a diagram of duodenum. Here you can see the ulcer, which is small, about 2 centimeter in size, with sharply punched out appearance. Unlike cancerous ulcers, the margins are not elevated. The ulcer base is clean. Microscopy. In active peptic ulcer disease, ulcer base has 4 histological zones. One, necrotic zone, that forms the floor of ulcer and is composed of a thin layer of fibrinoid debris. Beneath this, there is superficial exudative zone, which consists of neutrophilic infiltrate. Next to this is granulation tissue zone, that consists of active granulation tissue, that is neovascularization, infiltrated with mononuclear leukocytes. Lastly, the zone of cicatrization, which forms fibrous or collagenous scar. Vessel walls within the scarred area are thickened and occasionally thrombosed. Complications of peptic ulcer disease are: 1. Obstruction. Fibrous scar at or near pylorus results in pyloric stenosis. Healed duodenal ulcer causes duodenal stenosis. Healed gastric ulcer along the lesser curvature causes hourglass deformity. Then hemorrhage. Minor bleeding occurs due to erosion of small blood vessels in the base of ulcer detected by occult blood in stool. Severe blood loss may result in hematemesis or melena. Chronic blood loss may result in iron deficiency anemia. Perforating ulcer may erode a major artery, that is left gastric, gastroduodenal, splenic artery, and cause massive hematemesis and death. Then perforation detected by on chest X-ray, gas under diaphragm. It is more common with duodenal ulcer than gastric ulcer. Perforation leads to acute peritonitis, may cause subphrenic abscess or involve liver and pancreas. Malignant transformation of chronic peptic ulcer is usually less. In chronic duodenal ulcers, these are not pre-malignant, while in gastric ulcer, less than 1% of chronic gastric ulcers may progress to cancer. Clinical features of peptic ulcer disease: age, peak incidence of duodenal ulcer is in 5th decade, while that for gastric ulcer is a decade later. People at risk. Duodenal ulcer occurs more commonly in people with more stress and strain of life. For example, in executives, in leaders, while gastric ulcer is seen more often in labor workers or laboring groups. Pain. In gastric ulcer, epigastric pain occurs immediately or within 2 hours after food and never occurs at night. In duodenal ulcer, pain is severe, occurs late at night, and is usually relieved by food. Vomiting, which relieves the pain in patients of gastric ulcer, while duodenal patients rarely have vomiting. Thank you.